Hi everybody, welcome back. Hope you're doing really well. I want to talk today about some tips that I've got for a successful no-buy. So if you're on any form of no-buy or even low-buy this year, hopefully these tips are going to help you out. I'm on a replacement only no-buy for makeup this year. That means that I am only allowed to buy a bit of makeup if I completely run out. I have no backups of that item. So if I completely run out of my mascaras, I have no mascaras as a backup, I'm allowed to go and buy one. So that's my plan for this year. I think, what are we, 24? In 2022, I think that was my year-long no-buy. I can't quite recall if it was a replacement only no-buy. I think it might have ended up being a replacement only no-buy. So I have done a year-long no-buy before. So I've done this for a little bit. I've put myself on little restrictions here and there as well. So I've got some tips that hopefully are going to be quite helpful to you, but if you have other tips, please share them in the comments down below, because I'm assuming if a lot of you are watching this video, it's because you're on some form of no-buy. So any tips, any advice that anybody has, please feel free to share. So tip number one, arguably the thing that you probably need to do first, this is to unsubscribe from all emails, postal brochures, any text, even YouTube videos, Instagram accounts, TikTok accounts. Unsubscribe from all of these types of content that is about buying products. It's from brands, it's from companies trying to coerce you, persuade you into buying more things that you don't need, or following content creators that are all about buying new things as well. So I would recommend unsubscribing from all of those. Remove that temptation, just get rid of that straight away. It was around about November, sort of Black Friday time last year, where I decided that I was going to go on some form of no-buy or low-buy for this year. So once I had bought what I wanted to buy in Black Friday, as soon as I was done, I unsubscribed from most, if not all, of those types of emails. So from places like Majuri, Space NK, Bobbi Brown, Cult Beauty, so from retailers and individual brands and companies. As soon as I got that email into my inbox, I would unsubscribe straight away. And I went from having probably about 20 emails first thing in the morning when I checked my phone, to having maybe sort of 2 after I'd unsubscribed. And those emails were then important emails that I kind of needed to see, rather than emails that were like, this is new in stock, we've got a secret discount, have you seen this product, or we think that you would really like this. And it was just such an instant relief to unsubscribe from all of these marketing emails, texts. I unfollowed a couple of people as well on places like Instagram and YouTube, accounts that were mostly about what makeup is new, what skincare is new, and let's try it and see if you need it. I unsubscribed from all of that, so I just tried to remove as much of that temptation as I possibly could, and that helps a lot, because the strongest person will really struggle to resist a lot of this type of content. So don't beat yourself up if you find it really difficult to kind of refrain from buying new things when you get emails or texts or stuff through the mail. It is really difficult, because it is such a constant barrage of you need this, you need that, you need this, and you don't. So that would be the very first thing that I would recommend people do if you have decided to go on any form of low buy or no buy. Just unsubscribe from as much content, as much emails, texts, etc. as you possibly can, and that is going to really help with just not being tempted and not being shown all the stuff that is new and that people are trying to persuade you that you need to add to your collection. Oh, and also as a result of that as well, especially if you do it on places like TikTok, your For You page will then just be tailored to things like no buy years, or I'm on a sort of like a low financial year, or this is how you can use up your makeup. So eventually your social media feeds will be tailored to that kind of content, rather than, like I say, the new in, you need to buy this, you must add this to your collection. The next tip is another one that I personally have found quite helpful, and it's to keep an inventory. So because it's makeup that is my kind of weakness, the thing that I want to really get a control on, I, for the past 3 or 4 years, have kept a makeup inventory, and I've broken it down per category. Now, I do keep meaning to film a video showing you my makeup inventory and how I structure it, but I've got it on Google Sheets and I've got a tab per main overall category. So I've got a base tab, I've got a cheeks tab, eyes, and then lips. And then within each tab on that Google Sheets document, I've got primer. I've listed my primers, concealer, listed my concealers, and I've tallied how many of each I've got as well. And I keep that really up to date. As soon as I finish something, I go to my inventory and I cross it off my inventory and I change the numbers, and then that's reflected in my overall number for my entire makeup collection. And keeping a makeup inventory just makes it so much easier to see exactly what you've got. Now, it can be a bit scary if you have never done a makeup inventory before, but like anything that you want to try and get a control of, whether it's your finances, for example, it's really important to just bite the bullet and just get it done. It is scary to be really open and honest with yourself about how much you've got, what your spending patterns are, but trust me, it makes the next process just so much more easier to deal with. So take some time, if you've never done this before, to sit down with your entire makeup collection. If it is makeup that you want to kind of control and not buy as much, separate it all out, write it all onto some form of spreadsheet or Word document or notepad, whatever works best for you, and categorise them. So write down how many primers you've got, how many eyeliner pencils you've got, how many lip glosses you've got, and that is going to be so eye-opening to see exactly how much you have overall as a makeup collection and how much you've got for your individual categories. And it's really eye-opening as well to see where the patterns are, to see whether you have 10 peach blushes, or to see whether you've only got, say, one mascara and that's not so much an issue for you, or you've got 30 foundations. So the next time you are tempted to buy a new makeup product that you have to have within your collection, you can stop and go, hang on, do I really need this? Do I actually have something similar within my collection? And if you have a large collection, the chances are you probably do. So I really would recommend to make an inventory, keep it as up to date as you possibly can. Try and keep it up to date on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, whatever works for you, or as soon as you finish up a product, keep it as up to date as you possibly can. And it's also then really quite, this is going to sound geeky, kind of exciting when you see your makeup inventory kind of like go down in numbers and get towards where you want it to ideally be. So those first two tips, I suppose, are all about kind of organisation, getting yourself kind of ready and prepared to embark on a no buy or low buy year. But what happens when you are on that no buy or low buy year and things are starting to go well, but you're getting that itch, you're getting that, but I'm a bit bored, or I want to try some new makeup, I want something to feel a little bit fresh. This third tip is hopefully going to help with that. And this is about doing challenges, doing little projects, so things like project pans, doing shop my stashes, or like a monthly makeup basket, for example. So if you find that you're in a little bit of a rut, you're wanting to be a little bit more creative or to try something new, for next month go, well, March is next month, what makeup colours are associated with March? Oh, that's things like pastels or peaches, some nice light bright spring colours here in the UK. So try to reflect that in your monthly makeup basket or your shop my stash for that month. So you're trying to kind of tailor your makeup to each month. So February that we're in at the moment, that was all about sort of like pink makeup, very romantic makeup, girly, pretty. When we move into summer, it's more about kind of bronzed or kind of like turquoise colours. Then when we go into September and October, it's these kind of like these colours, this is just one colour, this colour, like spiced oranges, pumpkins, burnt oranges, moss greens as eyeshadows, and then December, Christmas, festive makeup, sparkly eyeshadows, red lips. So that way you're being creative, you're dipping into lots of different colours that you will possibly have within your makeup collection instead of just reaching for the same things. I've been doing a makeup project pan for about 3 years now, and I really do like doing a project pan. It's a really great way to focus on makeup, to really kind of get to know a product rather than dipping in and out of lots of different types of products. I have one foundation, for example, that I'm working on, and I use it up until completion, and then I can get a really good idea of that foundation and go, is that something that I like? Is that something that I want to keep buying in the future? So that really helps you to get an opinion of the makeup that's in your collection, and also you can change up your project pan as well. So instead of having things in your project pan that you use until they're completely used up, you can say, right, well I've got 20 foundations, that's a lot of foundations to use. I'm going to work on this foundation, use it 10 times, rotate it out, bring in another foundation, again use it 10 times, rotate it out, bring in another one. So try and find little things like that, project pans, shop my stashes, 1 week 1 eyeshadow palette, a week of only wearing red lipsticks for example, or a week of only wearing eyeshadows that I don't reach for that often. Try to do creative things like that that are going to help with not feeling as stagnant, things that aren't going to feel as boring anymore, hopefully. So try to kind of switch things up, try to use as much of your makeup collection as you possibly can. And once you start thinking of little challenges like this, like I say, a week of wearing eyeshadows that I don't usually wear, the more you can kind of come up with ideas like that. And I did that in my year-long no-buy, and that was really interesting. That was a really good way of making things just feel a little bit more fresh, a little bit like I kind of had new makeup, because it was makeup that I don't often reach for. Now, I'm not saying that doing tip number 3 is going to completely get rid of any wants or wishes with regards to having new makeup in your collection. So tip number 4 is hopefully going to help with this, and this is about making a wish list. Now, I never really understood why this was a tip for these types of videos, but I then started making myself a wish list, and then I could see why. So if you are on a no buy or a low buy and you're getting really tempted and you go, oh, you know, there's a new Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette, or there's a new skin tint that everybody's raving about and I have to have it, add that to a wish list on your phone. Put it on that list and then try, and I know this is difficult, but try to then kind of forget about it for a little while. And then what's going to happen is that when you then add something else to your wish list, you can look at everything you've previously added and then you go, oh, I forgot I added that to my wish list. Oh, I don't need that anymore, because I played with a lot of makeup that's in my collection. So for example, if I look at my makeup wish list, so makeup to try, I've got some lipsticks from MAC. So Cream in Your Coffee, Mocha, Marrakesh, Chili. So I think Marrakesh and Chili are kind of red lipsticks. I really do like a red lipstick, but I have 2. I've got a warm red and I've got like a neutral Parisian style red lipstick. So I'm looking at those 2 colours and thinking, I don't need those because I've got similar colours within my collection. I've got a list, hang on, let me count this, of 14 eyeshadows from MAC. I know I've got a lot of eyeshadow on, but in my ideal makeup collection I would probably have no more than 6 eyeshadows. I'm not a huge eyeshadow fan. I can appreciate eyeshadow colours, I can appreciate a beautiful eyeshadow palette, but as part of my ideal makeup routine I would probably just go for a 1 shade and done, and it would be a very neutral, natural colour. So looking at this list of, what did I just say, 13, 16 eyeshadows, I do not need all of these eyeshadows, and to be honest I can't even remember what most of them even look like, whether these are neutrals or whether these are colourful eyeshadows. So I can cross a lot of these off this list. I've also got things like a couple of mascaras in here, a few lipsticks, and I don't know why I've added these to my list. So it's a really useful tip to kind of look back on and think, why did I add that? Whereas if you're not on a no buy, chances are you probably would have bought that there and then, because we want that kind of, that hit of dopamine, we want that feeling of having something new. But actually if you are able to just take a step back, sit with it for a bit and then come back to it, chances are that you probably don't want that item. But if you do, then it means that that is something that probably then does have a place within your collection. But then of course keep it on that wish list, and then once you come off your no buy, again go back to it and then see then if that is something that you do still actually want, or whether you've had that extra time to go, no, I don't need that. And then my last tip is all about finding a substitute activity. So what I mean by that is that I spend most of my spare time, when I don't have anything else to do, scrolling on my phone, looking at TikTok, looking on YouTube, looking on Instagram, looking at pictures of people's makeup looks, of reviews and swatches and dupes of new products and routines. It's 99% to do with makeup, possibly skincare, a little bit of hair care in there as well, but the vast majority of it is to do with makeup. So you can do all of these other tips, but if you're also then spending most of your time consuming all of this makeup beauty content, that's still going to make it quite difficult to resist buying things. So I would suggest to find a substitute activity to do instead of doing that. So quite often it's things that keep our hands busy, so being creative, being crafty, so knitting, crocheting, painting, baking, making things, because what I find with those as well is that time just flies by. Before you know it, it's been like 3 hours and you've gotten quite far with your crochet, for example. So I would suggest that you find something creative like that with your hands, or something to kind of keep your brain busy as well. So it could be something like trying to learn a new language, or if you've always wanted to learn how to code, for example, try and do something like that. So it's trying to find something to do instead of just sitting on your phone and scrolling through lots of this kind of beauty content and just again immersing yourself in a world that's telling you that you have to buy the newest thing, you have to add this into your collection. Your collection isn't complete unless you've got this amazing product within it. So just try your best to not put yourselves in those situations where you could be tempted. So those were my 5 tips for a successful low buy or no buy. So like I said at the beginning, if you've got any tips yourself, please do leave them in the comments down below. So a lot of my content this year is going to be around sticking to my replacement only no buy. So hopefully that's something that you're interested in as well. I'm hoping that's why you're kind of here. So anything that you can add into the conversation to help support other people who are on that journey as well, we would all be really interested in reading those comments. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you liked it. Do just want to say sorry about my posting schedule at the moment. I've been so busy and I just haven't had the time to kind of sit down and film. So I'm hoping to get back on track with 2 uploads a week. I am on holiday in a few weeks though, so I'm not sure if I'm going to manage it for that. But anyway, thank you very much for sticking with me. Hope you liked it, and I will see you again very soon for my next one. Bye.